Most people think expensive jewelry means better jewelry. Most people are dead wrong. The difference between a ring that costs $50 and one that costs $50,000 has almost nothing to do with how it looks on your finger. It has everything to do with understanding what you are actually paying for at each level. These are the 7 levels of jewelry. By the end of this video, you will know exactly where your money goes and where you are just paying for a name on a box. Level 1, costume and fast fashion. $5 to $50. This is where most people start and most people stay. A ring from Shein for $3, earrings from Zara for $12, a bracelet from H&M that turns your wrist green by Thursday. Here's what you are actually holding. The base metal is usually zinc alloy or brass, costing the manufacturer between 30 and 80 cents. The gold plating, if there is any, measures less than 1/10 of a micron thick. For context, a human hair is 70 microns. You could fit 700 layers of that plating inside a single strand of hair. It is not gold. It is the memory of gold. The markup is honest at this level, roughly 2 to 4 times manufacturing cost. Nobody pretends a Shein ring is fine jewelry, but what they will not tell you is this: that plating is not just thin, it is temporary by design. The nickel underneath causes allergic reactions in roughly 15% of women. The term surgical steel, which you see stamped on every other piece, has no regulated definition. It is a marketing phrase, not a material standard. Level 1 is not jewelry. It is decoration with an expiration date. And that is fine as long as you know that is what you bought. The problem starts when brands at the next level charge 5 times more for the exact same thing, wrapped in a nicer box. Level 2, the Instagram trap, $50 to $300. This is the most dangerous level in the entire jewelry market. Not because the products are terrible, but because the gap between what you think you are buying and what you actually get is the widest in the industry. Let us start with Pandora. A single charm bracelet bead contains roughly $3 to $5 worth of sterling silver. Pandora sells it for $45 to $75. That is not a markup. That is alchemy. But the genius is not the price. It is the model. Pandora built a subscription business disguised as jewelry. One bracelet, then a charm for your birthday, another for Christmas, one for your anniversary. Before you know it, you have spent $800 on silver beads that weigh less than a smartphone. Pandora's gross margin sits at 75%. For every dollar you spend, 75 cents is pure profit before marketing even kicks in. Swarovski is a different flavor of the same trick. The word crystal sounds precious. It sounds rare. It is glass, literally. Swarovski crystals are precision-cut lead glass manufactured in a factory in Austria. There is nothing wrong with glass as a material, but when you charge $300 for a glass necklace and position it next to diamonds in a department store, you are not selling a product. You are selling a misunderstanding. Here is the uncomfortable truth about level 2. The materials on your body are level 1. The experience of buying them is level 3. You are paying for the pink bag, the tissue paper, the feeling of treating yourself. And Pandora's boardroom knows that better than anyone. They did not build a jewelry brand. They built a subscription model you wear on your wrist. And this is where most people stop. But everything changes at level 3. Level 3, entry fine jewelry, $300 to $2,000. This is where jewelry finally becomes jewelry. Real gold, real stones, real craftsmanship, and for the first time, a product that can last a lifetime. At level 3, you are working with 14 karat gold, which means 58% pure gold alloyed with metals that give it strength. You are getting lab certified gemstones. You are holding something with an actual melt value. The markup here drops to 2 to 3 times production cost, the lowest ratio in the entire industry, because direct-to-consumer brands like Meadery and Catbird cut out the retail middleman entirely. No department store lease, no franchise fee, no glossy magazine campaign burning $30 million a year. Here's what most people get wrong about level 3. They assume 18 karat gold is always better than 14 karat because it costs more. In reality, 14 karat is harder, more scratch resistant, and better suited for daily wear. 18 karat is softer and shows marks faster. Most women wearing Cartier at level 5 would actually get more durability from a 14 karat piece at level 3. You are not upgrading by paying more. You are trading durability for a stamp. The best value at this level is a local independent jeweler. No brand tax, no influencer budget, just a craftsperson who will resize, repair, and engrave your piece for years after the sale. For the first time on this list, your money is going into the metal and the stone, not the marketing department. If you are learning something new, subscribe. I break down the jewelry industry every week. Level 4, the brand tax, $2,000 to $10,000. Welcome to the most psychologically engineered level in the jewelry business. This is where a blue box adds $2,000 to a silver bracelet and nobody questions it. Tiffany is the master class. A Tiffany T bracelet in 18 karat gold contains roughly $400 to $600 worth of metal. It retails for $3,500. The rest is the box, the experience, the Fifth Avenue address, and a century of marketing that trained the world to associate that shade of robin egg blue with love itself. Research from consumer psychology journals shows that identical jewelry is perceived as 30 to 50% more valuable when presented in branded luxury packaging. The box is not a container. It is the product. LVMH acquired Tiffany for $15.8 billion in 2021. They did not buy a jewelry workshop. They bought an emotional trigger that works in every language on earth. David Yurman runs a similar playbook with less heritage and more markup. The signature cable bracelet is sterling silver wire twisted into a pattern. Material cost is under $40. Retail is anywhere from $300 to $2,000 depending on the version. That is a 5 to 50 times leap from workshop to checkout. Here is the question you need to ask at level 4. Would you pay the same price if the logo was not there? If the answer is no, you are buying the brand, not the bracelet. And there is nothing wrong with that, as long as you know the math. Because for the same $2,000 at level 3, a local jeweler will build you a custom ring in 18 karat gold with a genuine sapphire. At Tiffany, $2,000 buys you a silver bangle and a blue ribbon. Level 5, the icons, $10,000 to $50,000. Something changes at level 5 that no spec sheet can fully explain. These are not just jewelry pieces, they are cultural objects. The Cartier Love bracelet is the perfect case study. Designed in 1969 in New York, it requires a special screwdriver to put on and take off. It was created as a symbol of commitment, a locked bond between two people. That concept, that story is now worth more than the 18 karat gold it is made from. Retail is $6,900 and up. The gold inside is worth roughly $1,500 to $2,000 at market price. Resale. A Cartier Love bracelet holds 70 to 85% of its value on the secondary market. Some vintage references have appreciated. A Tiffany T bracelet from level 4 loses 40 to 60% the moment you leave the store. At level 5, scarcity, wait lists, and cultural recognition turn jewelry into a store of value. Van Cleef and Arpels Alhambra pieces have waiting lists that stretch months. That is not manufacturing delay. That is manufactured desire. And it works. The uncomfortable truth about level 5. You do not need to spend this much to own something beautiful. A level 3 piece will bring you the same daily joy. But if you are buying one piece for a lifetime and you care that it holds its value, Cartier Love and Van Cleef Alhambra do something no lower level can. They turn gold into an asset that pays for itself in cultural weight. The best buy at level 5 is the Cartier Love Thin. Same icon, same recognition, lower entry price, same resale strength. Level 6, high jewelry, $50,000 to $500,000. We have left the world of wearing jewelry and entered the world of stewarding it. At level 6, a single piece can take one master jeweler 3 to 6 months to complete. Every stone is individually sourced, certified, and hand set using techniques that only a handful of living artisans can perform. Van Cleef's mystery set technique is the standard bearer. Stones are threaded onto gold rails so thin they are invisible to the naked eye, creating a seamless surface of color with no visible metal prongs. It was patented in 1933, and there are fewer than 30 jewelers alive who can execute it. This is not manufacturing. This is human performance art in metal and stone. Harry Winston's approach is different but equally extreme. The brand sources stones first, then designs the piece around the stone's individual character. No two pieces are identical because no two stones are. A 3-carat D flawless diamond at this level can cost $90,000 on its own before a single gram of gold is shaped around it. Here is what most buyers at level 6 understand that level 4 buyers do not. The stone is the investment, not the brand. A well-certified large diamond or colored gemstone can appreciate 30 to 50% over a decade, regardless of whose name is on the clasp. But that appreciation is never guaranteed. The gem market is volatile, driven by trends, mining output, and auction psychology. You are wearing someone's life's work on your finger. Whether it grows in value is another question entirely. Level 7, collector and auction grade, $500,000 and above. At level 7, the word jewelry almost stops applying. These are artifacts, cultural documents, financial instruments that happen to sparkle. The Blue Moon diamond sold for $48.5 million at Sotheby's Geneva. Elizabeth Taylor's La Peregrina pearl, with a history stretching back to the 1500s and a chain redesigned by Cartier, sold for $11.8 million. The Graph Pink, a 24.78 carat fancy intense pink diamond, went for $46 million. These are not purchases. They are bids on rarity. Here is the uncomfortable truth about level 7. Most people who own these pieces never wear them. They sit in vaults, they appreciate, they get photographed for insurance files and loaned to museums for exhibitions. And sometimes that is perfectly fine. Jewelry at this level has created real generational wealth. A stone bought for $500,000 20 years ago can be worth $3 million today. But if you are buying at level 7 because you think it will feel proportionally better on your hand than a level 5 piece, you will be disappointed. The law of diminishing returns hits hardest at the very top. At level 7, the jewelry does not decorate you. You decorate its provenance. So where does that leave you? The sweet spot lives between levels 3 and 5, from $300 to about $20,000. This is where quality, value, and longevity actually meet. Start at level 3. Learn what you actually like. Do you prefer gold or silver? Minimalist or statement? Something you never take off or something you save for evenings? Answer those questions with a $400 ring before you answer them with a $10,000 bracelet. Explore level 4 when you know your taste and you want a name that carries cultural weight. Move to level 5 when you know exactly what you want and you are prepared to keep it for decades. Unless you are building a collection as an investment, Ignore level 7 entirely. That money buys 10 exceptional pieces instead of one legendary one. 10 pieces worn across different moments, different outfits, different decades will give you far more than any diamond sitting in a vault. The best piece of jewelry is the one you actually wear. Everything else is just expensive furniture for a safe. Across all 7 levels, one pattern is undeniable. In the jewelry world, you are either funding a marketing campaign or investing in genuine craft. The difference is not subtle. It is the gap between paying for a logo and paying for lasting value. Your hands deserve more than hype. Choose substance over status and make every dollar count. Which level are you at? Drop it in the comments. And if this changed how you think about your next purchase, subscribe. I will see you in the next one.